everybody. Welcome back to the podcast, live here at Franklin Township Crossing Park. I have with me David, right?
Yeah.
David from Avon Grove Library. So we're sitting across from each other for like a half an hour, and I finally mind blanked on that one. All right, so before we get into it with David, because he's got a lot of really cool things to share about the Avon Grove Library, I wanted to tell you, with the podcast, we've got podcasts coming up. We just did one at the Acadian earlier this month, and we've got a slew of podcasts coming up in Northern Virginia. We've got 4 wineries and a meadery. First time we'll ever be doing a meadery, so we'll be doing that. And that'll be in November. We have a private bourbon tasting in December that we'll be going live with. And then January, we're going to probably do American Wine Journey again. We're going to bring out Ben Cody from 1723 to do that. All right, so all of that out of the way. I wanted to talk to David. So let's hit up, first of all, let me turn that a little bit. Don't feel free to like move the mic a little bit. Twist it. Yeah, push the back. Well, here, hold on, I'll do it.
Okay. All right.
Yeah. And then speak into the mic, and it's all good. All right, so you're with Avon Grove Library. Tell us about that.
So I'm David Payne. I am the director of Avon Grove Library. I've been in the position since April of last year. In that time, we've gradually worked to really increase the level of services that we offer. We are a member library of the Chester County Library System. We're one of 18 libraries up and down Chester County, which is wonderful because each of the member libraries has something different to offer. And so you get this great blend of individuality along with the collective nature of our collections, and really we're able to tap into a wide resource of books and more.
All right, so when you say member library, right, that means if you have a membership with the Avon Grove Library, you can go to any of these other, you can go to any of the 18.
You can go to any of the 18 libraries up and down Chester County.
So you're welcome there to take advantage of their things. Absolutely. Just by having a membership card with Avon Grove Library.
Absolutely.
All right, cool. All right, so, and, we were talking about it a little earlier, libraries aren't the same. They're just not the same anymore. I mean, I remember the library on Exchange Place when the Avon Grove Library was there, and it was in a house, basically, and they had books and shelves and stuff. It was pretty cool. I mean, you could kind of like tuck into a cove, an alcove, and read for a little while and have a little fun with that. But now it's different, right? So now it's more centralized. So you've got the Avon Grove Library right there in the little, section, in the commercial section.
Yep.
And there's plenty of parking, so you don't have to worry about parking. There's parking right by the library, and there's a little bit away. But the reality is you're probably not going to walk more than about 2 minutes to get in.
No.
But now there's still books there. Mm-hmm. There's still periodicals. There's still newspapers and whatnot. Mm-hmm. But now what else do you offer? Because I don't think people really realize all the things that libraries can offer now.
Yeah, and you're absolutely right, Gary. The one thing about libraries, or public libraries in particular, is we move with the times. And we've done that to great effect, certainly in Avon Grove and other libraries up and down the county. As you mentioned, we are not just about books. We're not just about videos or DVDs. We have, on certainly on the programming side, we do an awful lot of programming, particularly for young children, teenagers. We do programs for adults, but we also have some things that you wouldn't expect traditionally in the library. We have several services, for instance, that are a real bargain. We offer museum passes for free, which is a tremendous saving. For instance, at Avon Grove Library, you can get, if you have a library card, you can get a free pass to Longwood Gardens for up to 9 people.
Wait, you just say, hey, I want to schedule this day, and
you have the power now. You go into, from our website, you can go into a database called Museum Key. You find whether the date you're looking for is available. If it is, you reserve your pass, and you can have a pass for up to 5 people, for up to 9 people, I'm sorry, for 5 days. So
Wow.
that is a real bargain.
For free, just for having a library card.
Just for having a library.
Wow. Okay, so Longwood.
Longwood.
So I'm assuming, or now you're talking to museums. Are we talking mostly museums in southeastern Pennsylvania?
So
Like the Please Touch Museum?
Yeah. So let me clarify. So what we offer at Avon Grove is free access to 2 places right now.
Okay.
One is Longwood Gardens. The other is the Brandywine Museum and Conservancy.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
And that one, similarly, we offer, I think, a free pass for up to 4 people for 5 days. Now, within the larger Chester County system, some of the other libraries offer passes to museums. Some of them in the Philadelphia area, some further west of us, like the Lancaster Science Museum. But some of them, again, to mention the Academy of Natural Sciences, the Please Touch Museum in Philadelphia, the Battleship New Jersey, and some of the other museums in Philadelphia.
And this is found on the website.
It's on the website.
So you can find out. Okay. And then if you wanted to go, say, to a place that, say, the Avon Grove Library doesn't have the passes, because it makes sense that the Avon Grove Library would have passes to Longwood, because Longwood's right there, right? So Please Touch Museum is a little further out, so another library would probably have that.
Right.
You have to look at their library, or is there
Yeah. So if you go to the Chester County Library website, that's www.ccls.org. There's a button there on the right-hand side, about halfway down the page, for museum passes. If you click on that, you can actually see who's got what. And again, really good value.
Yeah.
You've got museums.
That's crazy.
You've got.
I mean, it's really it's insane that that's offered at the library.
Absolutely, real.
But it's awesome too, right?
It's insane. It's awesome. It's wonderful. I will say that we are, as we work on our 2025 budget, we are hoping to fit in a few more passes to various places next year. So stay tuned.
That would be awesome. So so this is your tax dollars at work,
This is your tax dollars.
So you always wanted to know, what do I get for my tax dollars,
Absolutely,
right?
yeah.
Well, here's some place you actually get something, right?
Absolutely.
You get something. And I mean, when my wife and I were raising our kids, we would have loved some of that, to be available for that.
Yep.
So this is really cool. How much of that, by the way, this has been obviously coming for a while. These things have been added one piece at a time. It's not like, oh, boom, one day everybody goes, oh, we'll just add this.
Right.
So how long has it been? It's been like over the last decade, would you say, maybe 2?
I would say last decade or so.
Yeah,
it's
because
gradually grown. Yeah.
Yeah, and that would make sense because of the internet and all that.
Absolutely.
And the world's a lot smaller kind of thing.
Yep.
But all those things are really, they're really cool advantages. And when you're talking about having just the ability to walk in, especially when I was raising a kid, our budget was tight.
Exactly.
We couldn't afford 4 passes to Longwood back in the day, kind of thing.
Exactly.
Or in our case, we have 5 kids, so it would have been 7 passes. But we'd been able to fit right in, right?
Right.
We could have thrown in the grandparents at the same time. If you're going to 9, right? You got 5 kids, 2 parents, and 2, my parents kind of thing. Anyway, but that's cool because you don't have to, and it has nothing to do with your actual income anyway.
Nope, it's nothing to do with their income.
So you don't have to go through any I got to apply for a scholarship. You just go on. You have your library card. You put in your number. You reserve the date.
Yep.
And it's done. Done. So I love the accessibility to that because it makes it so much easier for just anybody to walk in there and get it as long as they're that member. I'm stressing the member because that's the important part, right?
That's right. I have to remember the only stipulation is that members are under $10 in fines, and so that's
right.
A reasonable
So
threshold.
keep that in mind. You got to stay under $10 in fines.
But hopefully that's a reasonable threshold, and we try and work with people, to get them access.
Yeah, I may have paid for a book once in my life.
Yeah.
When I was going to the University of Delaware, I took one and I kept it too long.
And who didn't?
And then I took it back and they were like, that'll be X dollars. I'm like, I should have just bought the book.
Yeah.
but but hey, I kept it too long, you know.
So, but it's a real bargain, and you know
That's phenomenal. I mean, honestly, that to have that service that you can provide is really cool, and probably people don't take advantage of it as much as they could.
They don't, and I think people don't realise, again, we only have right now currently access to Longwood and Brandywine, but people don't realise the wider picture.
Yes.
And so you may have to travel north a bit to get to a library that does have passes to a Philadelphia area attraction, but still definitely worth it.
Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah, it's not just passes there, though.
No.
I think, I heard something about a telescope. How does that work? That's like ridiculous.
So again, in the list of things that you wouldn't.
I'm just going to check out a telescope.
Yeah. So we were the recipients of a very generous donation from the Chester County Astronomical Society.
Oh, cool.
They gave us what's called a Orion Starblast telescope. It's a very portable, not too heavy telescope, very compact,
but nice.
Very nice. And
Yeah.
It's a beginner thing.
Yeah.
And so it's
but not like scrappy beginner
No,
thing, you know.
no.
It's like it's a nice beginner.
It's a nice piece of hardware for a beginner just wanting to do a bit of stargazing to see how it works. Very simple to operate. We provide some guidance in how to set it up, and so it's very low maintenance. Again, it's free. It's actually a lot of fun.
Yeah.
And
Well, that'd be pretty cool.
yeah.
So wow. So if you want to check out a telescope, you can literally check it out.
Right.
And
Yeah.
then use it and see it. And the opportunity to just see if that's something that you'd be interested in.
Just see how it works.
But the stars are always fascinating, right? So if you're looking up there and you're seeing all sorts of different stuff.
And in this year of the eclipse particularly, there's been a lot of interest
that's
about
right.
the stars and so on, and if you go to some of the stuff that NASA does, a whole wealth of information, so it's a great entryway into that realm.
Yeah, the last 2 years in particular have had a lot of astronomical events, if you will. I don't know any better way to say that because that's not me, or my vocation. But the last 2 years have had a lot of things going on, and it has piqued interest, and it's generated some definite interest, within the regular community. And so, speaking of that, Avon Grove Community Library, right? Is it Avon Grove Community?
Avon Grove Library. Yeah.
What's the community that you guys serve?
So we directly serve 8 different townships or boroughs. We serve about 34,000 people. So that's West Grove Borough, that's Avondale Borough, that's London Grove, London Britain,
New London,
Franklin Township, of course.
Yeah.
Londonderry, and Penn Township. So I think that's everybody.
Yeah, that's okay. So everybody surrounding West Grove, basically.
Yeah, everybody. So and
it's centrally located.
We're centrally located.
Mostly.
We're sort of betwixt and between Kennet and Oxford, but we do get a lot of people who go to us and Oxford and or Kennet. So we have that huge catchment area.
And like the member thing, you don't have to live in the actual area that you are specific to serving.
Absolutely not.
That's more for jurisdiction than anything else. But I've never seen anyone in the library refuse to let somebody read.
That's right. That's right.
I'm just throwing that out.
Absolutely not.
But then I also remember. So along with the periodicals and the newspapers and all that, you have jigsaw puzzles, right? Are they donation mostly, or
some of them are donation?
Pick them up new?
Some of them are donation. A lot of them we just pick up new. There's actually, if you ask for anybody looking, there's a lot out there for jigsaw puzzles, both for children and adults and all that family. Jigsaw puzzles.
There's not just 1,000 pieces.
No.
There's 1,000 puzzles.
You've got 3D puzzles. You've got
my goodness,
and all shapes and sizes, and so there's been a lot of research now and publicity about the therapeutic value of the jigsaw puzzle. And I think since those darker days of COVID, I think this has very much been something that's really been highlighted, and so we do have a wide range of puzzles for all ages. Again, they're free. And again, it's a great service, I think.
Now, do you check those out, or do they stay in the
No,
library?
you can check them out, take them home, and
They have their own library card?
They have
Is there
their-
a thing? Is library card still a thing?
there is a library card still is a thing.
Or not a library card, membership card.
Membership,
I mean,
yeah. So
but-
you can check
but
it
not
out.
the library card that you put in the back of the book. Those,
No,
those are gone,
that's all
right?
gone. It's
so
all-
now they're scanned,
Now
right?
the barcode, now it's all
Nice.
gone. So we've done away with that, but and we've done away with the card catalog.
The card cap.
Yeah, so
Thank God, because that took like a whole row.
that
You
would
could
have taken
fit-
up half our library.
Yeah, that would take the book, all the books gone.
Yep, you just check it out and enjoy them.
Fantastic. Now, I also have on my list of things to ask you about our passport services.
Yes.
What does that even mean?
So we are a U.S. passport acceptance agency. So we are able to accept and process first-time passport applications.
First time.
Well, yes.
How about
and no.
renewals?
We can't do renewals. It's a bit complicated, a bit
Yeah.
grey, because first-time passport applications. However, if you had an application, if you had a passport as a child and you were just getting another one, then you can get the passport through us.
Okay. All right.
Check our website for everything, but renewals typically have to be sent in through the mail.
Well, you send your
Yeah.
passport back.
Yeah, actually. So you send it back. We
Just did it last year.
what we can do is passport photographs for renewals, as well as passport,
Ooh.
as well as for passports.
So you don't have to go to that big box store.
You don't have to go to the big box store. You come locally.
Get your. That is so close.
And,
I have literally gone to the big box store, and I'm
Yeah.
like thinking, man, this is like a half an hour in the
Yeah.
wrong direction.
Yeah.
But I could go like 10 minutes down the road,
You
and
could go and help us, fund our library services. So yeah.
Yeah, I mean that's pretty cool.
You just go to our website and book an appointment.
So first time and library, passport pictures.
Yep.
And then if you get one as a child, you can get your
Yeah.
the updated. I don't even know if that's called a renewal because
It is and
because
it isn't. It's
Yeah?
it's sort of a grey area. It's a fuzzy area because it's not technically a renewal. Because it's because you're giving a new passport, if you will,
as an adult.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, but it's all on our website, so just take a look there.
Yeah, I remember watching somebody. He was like 13, 14, and he had his passport and it had his baby picture.
That's
in there.
right, that's right.
That's when they got
That's
it.
right.
He just shows it to them, and they're just shaking their head.
That's right. Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
what do you do? Because it's still legal, right?
Still legal, but
Yeah.
passport pictures are more complicated now, and you do have to look like a serial killer now, and smile and
Everybody looks like a serial killer on their passports now. It's really scary.
So,
and it's like you're just gonna pull me out and check me just because of my picture.
Yeah. So again, we have it down, and we'll get you just what you need.
That's fantastic. Wow. I mean, that's a service. Again, we just talked about a bunch of stuff that nobody ever knows is actually in a library.
Right.
You know, everybody thinks library books.
Yeah.
And they think card catalog.
Yeah.
You know, older people do. Anyway. I do. But it's all been changed over, and like you said, you're following whatever is happening today.
You're moving with the times. Yeah.
So when I do have to ask you this question, just more curiosity than anything else. When COVID hit, did you see an upsurge or downsurge in services?
No, I think it's true of libraries up and down the country, in fact, that there was a huge upsurge in services.
That's what I would think happened, but I just wanted to...
Yeah, I think, people, one of the things about us, and as I mentioned, we move with the times, and libraries are very quick to pivot. Everybody uses the word pivot.
Yeah.
We pivoted to what we call curbside service. So we basically, we bought the books to you.
So you order the book.
You order the book through whatever means. You let us know you're outside. We go outside, hand the book over, and so we had all that choreography, and that was great. And so I have to say, looking back, I think libraries were particularly important because if you think back to those darker days of early 2020, when we were, by the summer, when we're trying to emerge from lockdown gradually, and people were looking for some semblance of normality.
Right.
And I recall doing the sidewalk service and giving people the items, and the look of appreciation that people had.
Yes.
Like, this is a return to normal. This is getting back to normal. So I think we were able to really fulfill a very, very important role at that time.
Yeah. Yeah, and I think that assistance to helping people get back to normality was huge for the community. And, it's a great community service.
Absolutely.
And it's people don't actually realize how much you offer. The other thing that's interesting is that small businesses typically adjust quickly. Government or municipal based have a harder time making that swing, right? But you guys were able to do it almost instantaneously because you saw the need and you were able to adjust without that much effort.
That's right.
And so that's something that people need to understand is that, okay, so every time I call up the government, they never respond, right? So again, here's the library, boom, something happens, the library responds. The next thing you know, you're getting your book coming out to you on the curb, right? We've all heard, you got your meal out on the curb, right? They'll serve you your meal out on the curb, but your book's out on the curb.
That's right.
They would bring them to you. And I bet you 10 to 1, if you're elderly, they'd still probably do it even without COVID.
Absolutely.
I'm throwing that out there. I shouldn't have probably said that, without checking. But I know, based on that, I know that you guys have that. It's not even. It's just humanity. Taking care of humanity, which is what the library is all about.
Yeah. And to your point about the elderly, and so we do have throughout the Chester County system, we have special services for those who may not be able to get out for whatever reason, not be able to get out to a library. And so we can have customized books, videos, audio tapes, what have you, sent out directly to your home. That comes through the Chester County Library, the main library in Exton. If you have any questions, please get in touch with us at Avon Grove and we can put you in touch with them.
Yeah, so that's the other thing. If you want to go someplace and you don't see it on the Avon Grove Library system, you can actually ask them where it is. They'll be glad to tell you, I'm sure.
Yeah.
And then you can check it out wherever that is. If it's in Coatesville or it's in another county even, you can do that.
Yeah.
Just Chester County, right? Your members.
Chester County. Yeah.
Yeah. Sorry about that. I almost went off the deep end on that one. That would have been interesting, right? Flat Earth went off the edge. So you can talk to another library. It could be Kennett, Oxford, any of those that has the service that you're looking for.
Right.
Because I'd be willing to bet that Oxford has the Lancaster Museum Pass.
Yeah.
Because they're closer.
Right, and so
it makes more sense.
This is the wonderful thing. We all have our own blend of services and offerings, and so it's
which is cool. Because and here's the deal: not you don't have to have all of them, because they have them.
Right.
So and you're not in competition, right? Well, kind of you are, but not really. No, I'm just teasing.
Not in that sense, yeah.
Yeah, there's not in a real competitive sense. You want to. The biggest competition you have is how many people can we serve? Can we serve more people next year? And that's the key to a library, right?
Exactly.
And that's one of those things where, like, you're looking. One of the things that COVID did was it helped people understand what libraries offer again, and it also helped, like, this park, right? So people are looking at parks, and I don't know if anybody else has noticed, but parks have upped their game in the last 4 years, like, massively. You're looking at you can do all sorts of things in parks and go and do things in parks, and libraries have done the same thing, just internally, because you see parks out all the time. But internally, the libraries have adjusted and really made a push forward for people to help educate them, to help.
And we have actually a couple of connections to our local parks, including Crosson, which I'll mention briefly if I may. First of all, we've been doing for the past couple of years on Friday mornings in the summertime, story time in the park.
We were going to meet here for this event.
Yeah.
And Dawn said, I'm sorry, I've got story time in the park. And I'm like, wait, what's that? Okay, so I'm getting bumped for story time in the park, right? But, you know, it's a good cause, so to speak. But, yeah, it was pretty funny. I was like, okay.
Takes in the pavilion right behind us, and currently in New London and Penn Township's parks as well. I'm missing one which I can't think. But anyway,
does Goddard Park have that?
No, we're looking to do something with Goddard next year. Goddard doesn't have a covered pavilion, so
they have those little.
They have
ones,
to lit, so we have to
but not like that.
Right.
Yeah,
so we're looking to see what we can do with Goddard next year, definitely.
Although I will tell you, you never know, because of the way they're keeping that one up, you might expect to see a covered pavilion in the next couple of years.
Absolutely. So
because they keep moving it.
Yeah.
Like a lot of new trail. I think they're paving the parking lot.
They're paving the parking lot, and so we want to support that.
Yeah, constant upgrades.
Yeah.
For not just parks, but for libraries,
That's right.
which is pretty cool.
Yeah, and we also have our backpack kits, which have been, that's a new thing we have. We lend out another non-traditional thing, backpacks, which are especially being curated to support children and families visiting their local parks. So we have backpacks which go out for 2 weeks, and in them we have things like a compass, a magnifying glass, an insect jar, and some very basic guides on navigation and wildlife and flowers and plants and so on, as well as free maps.
You've been holding out on me. I mean, this is great.
So,
I mean, that's fun. And so that's the same thing too. You just check it out.
Check it out. Enjoy it.
And you've got this backpack filled with
all these things, like I say,
educational
things. Some of which you can keep, like the park maps. Some of which have to be returned, like the magnifying glasses and so on. But
that makes sense.
It's a great bargain.
Yeah, I mean, wow. So yeah, you just go, and if you want, have your child. So there's a park that nobody really knows about. Now it's not in Franklin Township. Sorry guys, but it is very very local. It's called the Chrome Serpentine Barrens Park, and it's like one of the sleepers of the area
right.
because nobody knows about it, right? So you can take your dog there, you can take your horse there. We met somebody who was riding horseback there while we were hiking. But they have, I think, over 100 endangered species of flowers in that park alone. In the park alone. And so you're like, what? Right? Because it's Chester County, right? Well, that might be Lancaster County.
Okay.
But it's so close. It's literally about 7 miles from here.
And you obviously take the backpack anywhere.
And it's just a boundary, right? So it's like they could do that. They could take the what do you call it, the magnifying glass to the flowers.
And really, again, as you say, it's just a boundary, and it's really what we hope be a way to connect with nature and the outdoors.
Because we all need that, I think.
We all need it.
We all need to get. My mother used to say, "Go outside and get the stink load off you."
That's right.
So we need to have that outside experience, and that allows us to do that. That actually enhances the outside experience.
It does, and we're blessed to have so many wonderful outside experiences in this neck of the woods. So
we do. We talked about that earlier with Mary from PRO, which is Parks, Recreation, and Open Space. We talked to her about that. There are a lot of open areas here, and in the and not just in Franklin Township, which is crazy because everybody's stepped up their game.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? New Garden, New London, everybody's stepped up their game, and there's so many places to go outside that Nickel Park, Goddard Park.
Goddard Park, there's so many, and
they're all over the place.
The state parks, of course.
The state parks. Yeah, the Brandywine. I think it's the Brandywine Park that takes you in. It takes you into the White Clay Creek Park.
Right.
And I mentioned that earlier because you can. So, Pennsylvania's doesn't charge for their parks. Anybody can go and go into the park. Delaware, a little bit more particular. They charge for outsiders to get in the park. Now, if you have a what do you call it, a Delaware driver's license, you can get in for free. But as a Pennsylvanian, I cannot.
Right.
So but if I wanted to get into White Clay Creek, and we've done this a number of times, we've actually gone down from the Ticking Tomb Church, the Church of the Ticking Tomb, we've actually gone all the way down to Newark and come back again.
Yep.
You know, along that trail, and that's a magnificent
Absolutely.
trail. And you want to talk? So, in one of the things that is that it's sorry, we're talking trails now, but you can take your backpack on the trail.
Yeah.
But that trail is such an established trail that you don't have to worry about like where am I going,
Right.
what's next. You know you just walk the trail.
Just walk the trail, keep going.
and they allow horses on that one.
yeah.
Very few times have I met a horse on that, but they have bikes on that.
They
too.
do.
Because we've ridden the bikes up from Newark up to
Yep.
the Church of the Tickington and then back down again.
Yep.
But anyway, so what else can we talk about with the Avon Library? Is there anything else
I will just mention, if I may, it's a big year for us. We are 150 years old, believe it or not.
Get out of here!
The very first library opened in West Grove in 1874. It was back then London Grove, but it was in the back of Joseph Pyle's store, which later became the West Grove Cinema. And from that,
yeah, and that unfortunately burned down.
it did,
yeah.
unfortunately. And so I think we're on probably our fifth or sixth different building, but we've been in our present building that we share with the West Grove Borough for 20 years now.
A while.
And so it's a big year. We're having a big community day on Saturday, November the 16th.
So show up.
Yeah,
Support your local library.
We're going to have not one magic show, but two with Mike Rose, a great magician, who's doing a show in the morning at 11 a.m. for children and families. 1:30 he'll be doing one called History of Mystery, which is more geared towards adults and teenagers. We're doing a special commemorative celebratory story time. There'll be some kind of, I know we're having cupcakes, I'm sure there'll be more, and we're having visits hopefully from some of our elected officials.
And
So, yeah.
and you don't have to pay for any of
You
that.
don't have to pay for any of it. On top, yeah.
Do you have to pay for a library card? I forgot to ask that. You don't
Not
pay,
if you unless
unless you lose it.
Well, yeah, unless you lose it or you live outside Chester County. But otherwise, if you're local, absolutely not.
See, all of that free. Just like today's event, everything was free. If you wanted to ride the mechanical bull, it was free.
Yeah.
If you wanted face painting, it was free.
Yep.
So you know the entry is free. Just to roam around. The only thing you have to pay for is like food, and if you wanted to buy a really cool craft or painting or cheese board, you're gonna pay for that.
Right.
Because they have, that's a business. They're running a business, right? Or popcorn. You could buy popcorn. They have amazing popcorn, by the way.
Yeah.
But just like this, the Avon Library, it's free.
All free.
So the only time you're really going to pay them is when you don't bring your book back on time, or like that.
Or unless you're doing a photocopy.
But it's something that's driven by you for the most part.
Absolutely, and it's a great, as you said, Gary. It's a wonderful bargain.
That's fantastic. I mean, so all right. So you're having two magician shows,
Yep.
and you're having a discussion,
Yeah, and then also
and that's November 16th.
November the 16th, and then sort of complementing that, again, linked to our anniversary, before and after the 16th, we're having visits by 4 local authors who are all local Pennsylvania authors whose names escape me right now, but they will all be very, very interesting. And again, it's all free. Great chance to connect with people who write. And,
Yes.
Learn from them how they put a story together.
So I have this friend.
Yeah.
I know a guy, right? He wrote. He just retired. Literally just retired, like a week and a half ago. He has written a children's book on astronomy. He's an actual astronomer. This guy has made his living for like 50 years, right? Or maybe, I don't know if it's 50 or not. But he's made his living on astronomy, and he's solved equations. And I mean, this guy is brilliant. But he has this children's book, and he can actually talk to real people, right? Like typically scientists are like so far out there, they cannot engage.
Right.
If you don't know how to talk their language or you don't know how to understand what they're talking about, this guy actually can tell you, and he explains astronomy in his book, and he does go to, he was in the Newark Library last weekend.
Yep.
So he does do that kind of stuff. So he might be a good fit.
Yep.
You know, I'll put you in touch with
Wonderful.
each other.
That'd be great.
See, and this is how community works, folks. People know somebody who knows somebody. You put the two together, and suddenly you have a book. You know, what do they call that? A book discussion.
You have a book discussion. You have a program, and it's a chance to learn something new.
Right, and so you can take your kids to learn about astronomy for that kind of thing. So if it works, then you're going to see that coming up in the next few months.
Yep.
So that's how community works, and that's how this whole festival works. Is because we're all talking about community, and the community. There's nothing when you have a tight community, then everything works well.
Yeah.
And that's where and we need to be that. We need to be that as a community, and I think we really do succeed at that a lot.
We do, and I think, one of the things about public libraries is they are community hubs, and I think definitely that's our place, not only in West Grove, but all of our surrounding communities.
Oh, speaking of hubs, do you serve coffee there?
No, we don't, unfortunately. But I will say, on that subject of food and drink, we're putting together grant applications to have a mobile kitchen. So we're hoping to have something to that effect.
Okay.
Sometime soon.
Yeah. I feel like one of the major coffee brewers, should just I'm not talking about a local coffee brewer, where that really hurts their bottom line. I'm talking about a major one, right?
Yeah.
That'd be really fun to see them donate, because we've had today, next to the library tent was Food Lion.
Yeah.
They were giving away free popsicles.
Right.
And Wawa gave free water. So, somebody like a major coffee could possibly go in there and maybe start a trend.
Yep.
You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
Because it's free advertising for them, right?
Yes, it's a win-win.
It only costs coffee.
Yep.
That's it. It costs the coffee. So maybe we can make that work, because I think people would love, they'd probably stay longer. Remember the old Barnes and Noble days? There's something about the actual physical print. I mean, I have a Kindle, don't get me wrong.
Yep.
I have a Kindle, I read off the Kindle, but there's something about a physical book that actually makes the story more alive.
There is, and I think
I don't know why that is.
I think that for many people that to this day the physical book is preferable. I mean, certainly a place for the digital resource by all means, but for many people it's that holding that book,
right?
Looking at the book cover,
turning the page.
Yeah, and for them it brings them closer to the narrative.
Like you said, a lot of people I know have said it. But when you look at the book and mortar stores are closing, but the libraries are still moving.
Absolutely.
Right. So obviously some of that's funded by tax dollars, but on the other hand, maybe that'd be fun. I mean, now I'm brainstorming on your behalf.
Yeah.
Sorry about that. Whatever you decide you don't want to do, just throw that out. Like Gary said, we're going to throw that out. But that would be fun, because I think people did enjoy getting the cup of coffee and sitting in the little lounge areas.
For many years now, obviously there's been this connection between the book and the drink, and so it will be a great connection.
Yeah. I mean, I could even see having wine night there.
Yeah.
Yep. We'll have a book discussion on this book.
Yep.
And we'll just have a glass of wine.
Yeah.
Now I'm definitely, this is your strategic plan.
Sounds like a great fundraiser.
Right? So, BYOB, right?
Yep.
Because, and libraries have a little bit more latitude, so to speak.
Yep.
So, it's not so much of a full-blown license as it is like an application for a permit kind of thing. And,
that's right.
And but that notwithstanding,
Yeah.
It's a great place. You can bring your own coffee, by the way. You don't have to get it there, but you can bring your own coffee in there. There's coffee vendors. In town, I think there's coffee.
Yeah,
vendors,
you can bring anything with a lid on it. By all means, bring it in
and don't spill it. Okay,
spill it,
it's the library, for crying out loud. And don't be loud either.
But enjoy it. We welcome everybody and anybody.
That's fantastic. This has been a great discussion. I mean, if you got anything else to add, I'd love to hear it.
I think I just say, you know, we are in our quest to constantly move with the times. We're doing an awful lot. I think I'd hazard a guess that we've done more in recent months than we have done for quite some time at the library. So check out our website, www.avongrovelibrary.org. Look at our social media. We're on Facebook and Instagram. It's all there. Look forward to seeing you.
Yeah, all that's great information because you know, we wanna put it out there because I don't think 3/4 of the population know what's in there.
Right.
I mean, it's like this black box.
Yep.
And we want to open the box.
Yep.
We want to say and shine the light and say, this is all that's out here. So go to your local library. It's a lot more different than it used to be. You know, and everybody thinks of libraries as being, you know, they're curmudgeonly old stubborn man, you know. No, the library's no longer that anymore, you know.
We've got some great staff who are, you know, very, very happy to serve you and help you, yeah, so look forward to seeing you.
Fantastic. Well, David, I really do appreciate your time. It's been great talking to you. It looks like some of our other people kind of tapped out.
Yep.
Which sometimes happens, you know. So some of the people that were supposed to come were from the vendors. They were probably still busy,
Yep.
to be honest with you, because they've been hammered all day long.
I'm sure.
So
So it's been
the food vendors have gotten a lot of business.
Yep. It's been great for the festival.
More than one is sold out.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. So that's good. Thank you for all the good work that you're doing. We appreciate your bringing the Avon Grove Library System into the 21st century,
Right. That's right.
which is not easy because things are changing. They're constantly moving right now,
rapidly, yep.
and then you throw a pandemic in there at the same time. You got to adjust again. So
right.
it's been kind of like wild for all of us, but from a library perspective, now you got to adjust because when that happened, you have all this more interest. Now you got to keep up with all that
You've
interest,
got to sustain
right?
it. Yeah,
You've got to and you've got to satisfy the client or the customer at the same time.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
But it sounds like you guys have done a really good job with that, and I appreciate you guys being there. If you're watching this, first of all, if you're watching this and you're just seeing my lips moving because my stupid piece of adapter might have tapped out, I'm actually recording it here anyway, so I can merge the two and we can have the audio if it's not working there.
Right.
But in the meantime, again, thank you for hanging out with me. I appreciate it very much. It's been great. I've learned a lot myself. The backpack thing.
Yeah.
I mean, that's nuts.
Who would have thought? Yeah,
Who would have thought that you could take? I mean, and there's so many places like just in Franklin Township alone, we have 4 preserves, which means there's no ball fields there.
Absolutely.
You've got to engage with nature.
Yeah.
So it's like the perfect learning opportunity for your kid.
Yeah.
And that's, you know, teachers are great. We love teachers because they teach you a lot. But they don't have the opportunity to take you out because that's not in their curriculum, so to speak.
Yeah.
And so this kind of adds, you know, and it doesn't supplement, it adds. Okay, so what they're doing is great. They don't need to supplement that, but this is like, hey, this is another piece of the puzzle
and it's
life.
It's a free family activity. And how many of them are there these days?
Speaking of how many backpacks do you have to loan at any given moment?
Well, we have 2 right now.
Okay.
We're looking to get some more.
So that's a family thing.
It's a family thing,
It's family. You know, because, you know, the brothers can fight it out if there's 3 of them. But yeah, so that's really great. All right, we're going to call that. And thanks again, David, for joining. If you haven't, if for some reason I forget, reach out to me and I'll give you my friend's name, the astronomer.
I will do.
The astronomer turned book writer.
Yep, that's great. Thank you.
And he loves talking to kids because he loves sharing. His passion for astronomy. I mean, he just retired and he's been doing it for I can't tell you how many years. And I talked to him and he goes, his eyes, after decades of doing this as a living, his eyes are still, you know, passionate with this subject. And I'm like, Man, that's crazy.
That's-
I mean, the rest of, I mean, I know I'm an engineer, so I'm gonna walk away. I mean, I love what I do, but I don't have that kind of passion. Don't get me wrong. I love what I do.
To be able to convey that is great.
And to children, I think, to the next generation. And one of the things that he said, I never realized as a child I could make a living off of stars.
Right.
He just said, I thought they were just to look at.
Yeah.
And here you guys have a telescope to loan. Exactly. So, I think having him come and do the whole story time thing or the book discussion would be a great, it would, take that next generation and say, okay, who's the next astronomer? Who's taking his place?
Exactly.
And because we need people to, because we're going to Mars soon, I think.
We do. I mean, it's a field that's changing so rapidly, too.
Yeah.
So to be able to keep up with that, it's extraordinary. So wonderful.
All right, I'm gonna wrap this up right now. You can sit here if you want. It'll take like 2 minutes. Thank you
so much indeed for having me, Gary.
This has been fascinating. I mean, and then we can point to it. I'll send you the link to it so that you can point. And it'll be up online.
Right.
All right. Hey, everybody, thanks for joining us at the Franklin Township Fall Festival. It's been great. We've had a lot of stuff going on here, from the mechanical bull just to the regular playground to bouncy castles to face painting. We just had an awesome discussion with David from the Avon Grove Library. Yeah, so, hey, this is probably going to happen next year given the success, but, we'll keep you posted on that. And thanks for joining us. Again, my name is Gary Moore. I'm with Journey More Often. So until the next time we talk, enjoy life, journey more often.